Cool. What is going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy, NarikChase, and in this one, we're going to have a very special character ranker. Well, it's not really that special because eventually I was going to get down to the character anyway, but in light of the recent news about Ben Affleck actually stepping down as the Dark Knight, um, from being and playing the Dark Knight in the DCEU, which again is a total travesty. But I felt like we definitely had to address this and address, you know, possible characters who could have potentially played a role. Which I'm not done with those videos. I'm going to do at least two more casting choices for the Dark Knight for the DCEU. But having said that, I want to go back and we're going to rank Ben Affleck's performance as a Batman in the DCEU. Now, remember, guys, when they first announced that he was going to be Batman, and of course, it damn near broke the internet with the outrage and backlash. But then, when Batman v Superman came out, people shut the fuck up because Ben Affleck completely kills as the Dark Knight. He was edgy, he was dark, he was exceptional, and that is what I want to see from my Dark Knight characters. Now, from the different, how does he actually rank as a Dark Knight? Let's talk about this. All right, then. Now, in terms of him just being Batman, does he portray a good Batman? He does. He does an exceptional job. He makes the character very dark. He makes the character brooding. He does a fantastic job, both as an older Bruce Wayne and a seasoned Batman, which I like both sides of the coin, which he does a great job of portraying. If it felt more like he had more of the Batman Arkham feel to the character, and he just lands as Batman. When you're on the screen, you see him. It's not Ben Affleck. It's completely Batman and or Bruce Wayne. So I did not mind, and I love the portrayal of the backstory of the characters. Now, one of the things I never understood about the whole Batman mythos is like, why in the hell did his freaking mom and dad? Why did they go down a freaking dark alley out of the movies? Like, I do not understand because there's no way I'm gonna exit out a dark alley from a movie. It's like, why don't you just come in the exact same way you came, which was the front? I can understand if they're potentially trying to avoid like paparazzi or something, fine. But then again, even if that was the case, you would have like a bodyguard or something in the back. But one of the things that I like, one of the changes, not really much of a change, but in this incarnation of the character, his parents actually fought the guy that robbed him. So it was actually pretty cool. It was actually pretty cool to see how that and it's actually pretty cool how we saw the representation of that through his memories, through his nightmares, through his dreams. So we saw how that reflects on his personality, how that has developed him. He's a very serious character, and of course, he's suave. Ben Affleck is suave enough when it comes to the public. He's got a bit of a charisma, and he does a great job of helping to flesh out the Bruce Wayne character a bit more doing his Bruce Wayne segments, whether it's incarnation interactions with Clark Kent, whether it's interactions with, of course, Alfred, interactions with Diana. So there's a lot that he brings to the not only just the Bruce Wayne character, but the Batman character. Is he a good character? Easily one of the best and darkest versions of the character that we've seen in the film. Now, when people sit there and say that Christian Bale played a dark Batman, he has nothing on this. This Batman actually fucks up criminals, and he kills them, he tortures them. That's the Batman that I want to see, because that's the Batman that's going to make criminals cringe at the thought of doing anything out of line. A Batman that is not afraid to not only take risks, but actually be willing to break the rules to strike actual fear. There's no Batman that's ever come on screen where I felt like the criminals should just be like afraid of him. No incarnation whatsoever. Not even in, you know what I'm saying? Just no live action version of this character is like, I should be like scared of him. Now, when it comes to the Batman Arkham series, yes. When it comes to the Batman animated series, yes. When it comes to even the Injustice, I can say like, yeah, this is the only on-screen live action version of Batman where he is actually fucking up criminals, and you can see them actually be afraid of him. So he definitely left. He's like a perfect version of perfect mixture of Batman animated series meets Batman Flashpoint. That's the best. He's hands down the best one in terms of like the actual striking fear. Even some of the moments where you see he's posted up and he's you know, watching his prey and stuff like that, and watching criminals and stuff like that. He's badass. You know what I mean? Definitely hands down the best Batman that we've seen. And I think particularly think the character is well written. Yes, you could say it was a little bit choppy about Batman v Superman, but a lot of people have mixed things to say about that. Me personally, I enjoy Batman v Superman. There's a lot to it. It's got a lot of layers and it's got a lot of things going on. It does a pretty good job, actually, in my opinion, of balancing out all of these different characters. But I think the character is well written. I think he's an interesting character. I think he's a charismatic character, and I think his character is actually was a great center point for bringing the Justice League together. So I have no problems with that character, and I also love the independent nature of him as well. But he's also good with, you know, Wonder Woman, and he eventually learns working with the other characters. So I did not mind. Does Ben Affleck do a good job? Dude does a fantastic job. One of the best things. Not only is the character design, let me go on with the cast. Now, I would say who I would think should be cast, but I've already did the casting choices. And guys, if you haven't seen the casting choices, check out my Batman DCEU casting choices video that I've done. But there's a lot of actors that could potentially play a good Batman. Is he physically fit? I love how the film actually addresses that too, because you know Ben Affleck's a bit older, and this incarnation of the Dark Knight is a bit older. I want to say he's like in his 40s now. Usually when you see Batman, he's like in his late 20s, early 30s, or at least in his mid 30s or something like this. This one seems to be a bit more in his 40s. Now there's one sequence where he is training to, you know, to prep for his fight with Superman, which was actually pretty cool because Ben Affleck was actually in decent shape. He was in pretty good shape actually. He was busting on weights. He was doing his thing. So actually, physically, he does a pretty good job as an older version of Batman, especially when it comes to the fight scenes as well. And of course, this is Ben Affleck. This man has been in a lot of great stuff. Uh, there's very few movies I've seen him in that I thought was terrible. Look, the only incarnation of a comic book character he has played that I thought he did a fantastic job with was Daredevil. I love the grittiness he gave to the character, the darkness he gave to the character, and it is different. So I would like to go back and do Ben Affleck, Daredevil versus Batman video, which you probably would do. But I love the edginess he gave to the character, but also the humanity he gave to the character in Daredevil, which you do see in here. Yes, I love the fact that even though he does have that dark side as Batman, he also shows a lot of humility later on in the series, especially when, you know, at first he views Superman as a threat, and then eventually he learned, you know, he says that he's too dark to actually lead the team and stuff. They need someone like Superman. So I do love that. I do love that he does have a bit of a development arc throughout the series. Now, going back to the actual design of the character, it looks fucking awesome. What was the one Batman suit that came out back in the day with the big Batman logo? I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it actually looks freaking awesome. It looks the best it has ever looked. It looks whereas if you look at, you know, the Dark Knight trilogy, his suit is more armored. What it looks appears to be on this one is the suit is padded, but it actually doesn't look like the 1989 version padded. It actually looks more form fitted padded, and it does look more. It looks good. So I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it, especially with the voice changer thing that makes his voice seem more gruff, which is freaking awesome. And then, of course, seeing his armored suit looks pretty badass, especially with the eyes that light up and everything. So overall design of the character is fucking awesome. This one he looks built, and it does go with Ben Affleck's figure, where he's kind of like, you know, when you're younger, you're really like thin and scrawny and muscular, but then as you get older, you sort of thicken up. I think that did a great job of taking that into consideration when developing the suit. But the suit looks exceptionally badass. And it does got a bit of a throwback to, you know, back the the versions of back in the day. So it looks pretty cool. The costumes, the weapons, the Batmobile looks fucking awesome. I love the badass weaponry that it has on, and his weapons look pretty cool. I mean, look at the suit. Dude looks beast as fuck. There's no way out of that. I don't care what no one says. The technology looks pretty cool. His combat is brutal. I love that about him. He's got a badass combat, and it's just freaking awesome. Now, how important is the role to the DCEU? I would say, as of now, he is probably the focal point of all of them. Yes, Superman was definitely the starting point, but as of now, I think Batman is pretty much the center point of everything because of what he did or what he was trying to do in Batman v Superman is what led to the unification of the Justice League, which is going to be the focal point of the DCEU if they hopefully continue it. These stupid sons of bitches. But anyways, I think he actually is a pretty cool character. I think that his roles in the films were actually needed, and as I've said, he actually develops as a character throughout the two films that he's featured in. I don't think that he like going back to the Batman v Superman. He didn't outshine Superman. He wasn't and Superman didn't outshine him. It was actually a story about these two characters, and it fit. When it comes to Justice League, it's him and these other characters, but they all well to some extent the other characters don't get as much shine. Even though we do see a little bit of their lives and the issues that they're dealing with, Batman is pretty much the focal point of Justice League next to Wonder Woman. But he's actually a pretty important character. And like I said, the developing arc that starts in Batman v Superman and does cross over to Justice League is well warranted, and it does a great job of making the character just feel awesome. And like I said, he's a prominent character. He's definitely there, and I like the relationship that he does have with the other characters as it eventually evolves. So he does learn how to be one of the biggest things you see that he does learn how to work with a team. Now, as they did establish in Batman v Superman, um, is that he did, of course, it was Robin, and then Joker ended up killing him. So that was most unfortunate. But we do see that developing arc in Justice League when he actually works with the team members. So I have no problems with Ben Affleck as Batman. I do freaking own the role. I was really impressed. I think it's a fucking crime that Warner Brothers don't need to. It's just fucking up right now with the DCEU. They need to step back and just they need to do something because Ben Affleck. I really enjoyed him as Batman. It's sorry to see the man go. But he has his life. He has other projects that he has to get going on. So I'm not going to hate him for him. I'm just going to say Warner Brothers is a bunch of fucking idiots. But anyways, if I what I'm going to rank Ben Affleck's Batman portrayal as, I am going to give him one of my exceptional 5 out of 5s. I think he was fucking perfect for the role. Awesome character. Awesome actor as well. So, guys, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts about Ben Affleck's performance as Batman in the DCEU. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you pissed like I am that he's leaving? Are you happy that he's going to leave? And also in the comments, let me know who else you think should play Batman. And be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on in this channel. We'll catch you guys later.